There are thousands of DLCs out there, but what's the difference between an exceptional DLC and a horrible piece of crap DLC? Welcome to Pretty Pink Unicorn, where I share with you my perspective. So to start things off, what is the purpose of a DLC? According to dictionary.com, a DLC is additional content that can be purchased online and added to a video game as to enhance its features. Practically speaking, this usually takes on one of two forms. You can have a big expansion similar to The Witcher 3 in content. The Witcher 3 has two very large DLCs where it's a whole new world in one with a whole new quest line introducing some old characters, and then there's another DLC equally as large, but it takes place in the existing world. It just introduces new concepts, new characters, new loot. This is a very large DLC. It took a lot of time to make, so it makes sense for them to charge you additional money to purchase. Then there's the other form of more skins, guns, cosmetics DLC. You see things like this in Dying Light, Fortnite, CSGO. The prices can become really expensive on some of these DLCs, but the point of these is that you do not need them to have a good time in the game. It's just an additional add-on. And just to clarify here, freemium content is not what I'm going to be discussing here with DLCs. Freemium content is stuff like Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. You can play it, experience the whole game, totally for free, but you will have a limited amount of quest lines that you can experience. You will also have a cap on how much money you can carry. You're locked out of some activities. So to really experience the game to its fullest, you need to pay per month, and that is a very well-known thing going into a freemium game. Club Penguin's another great example. You can technically go in and play Club Penguin, but you really can't do a whole lot unless you pay per month. So when you look at The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt, they got a few DLCs. Most of these are free. There's no reason to charge people for it. It's a simple DLC. You click the button, you get a cool unlockable in the game which changes the look of your character. Sweet, awesome. No reason to pay for that. That's a form of DLC right there. Then you've got the really awesome Blood and Wine and freaking Hearts of Stone expansions, which could be single games on their own with how much time and effort and detail goes into those. Let me give you an example of how in-depth these are. Throughout the main game, there's this overarching fist-fighting quest line that is really enjoyable. And as soon as you go to Coruscant, this new DLC area, it introduces the same mechanic but with a twist. Because this is all like royalty and everyone's prim and proper, it's a rap battle, but in like medieval style.
Well, how then is this for a clever tongue twister? You're a bum-botching, blackened, bile-filled blister.
Think you're confused. That sounds more like your sister. I'm immune to disease, but even I'd die if I kissed her.
I love this stuff. So well done. This attention to detail did not need to be done, and you would never see it done by some developers, but CD Projekt Red went out of their way to not only deliver a huge DLC at a reasonable price, but an amazing, unforgettable experience. And that is why Cyberpunk 2077 will probably be super good. Hype is real, boys. Let's look at a third example that's a little bit weird. Dying Light. Dying Light has a couple different types of DLCs. They have 2 or 3 expansions, only one is really worth buying, but they do have $2.99 buggy packs. It's an outfit, a buggy skin, and a gun that you gotta craft in the game. It's $2.99, and it seems like not a lot of content for $2.99. But the way that these are introduced in the game is just as a quick little, hey, if this looks cool and you want to support us as developers, you can buy this. You never need it in the game. You will hardly notice it if you buy one. You might mess around with the gun for a few minutes and then you're like, okay, I'll mess with some other stuff now. It is not necessary content, but you purchase it knowing you are supporting the developers by doing this, and hey, you got a cool looking retro synthwave buggy skin. This form of supporting the developers through buying DLC is again perfectly acceptable. It's a little something to add to the game. I love it. Dying Light, you get a thumbs up from me. Now, if I'm gonna give good examples, I'm gonna give some bad examples. Fallout 76 My buddy Todd.
I love you.
We're not even gonna talk about this. This game went so wrong in so many ways.
You're naughty.
You already know. You know how I just mentioned in Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic, things were locked behind a paywall? You could experience some activities, but you couldn't experience all unless you paid money. I also said you can get currency, but you have a limit to how much money you can carry unless you pay monthly. But that is a free game. A free game that's only way of making money is if you spend monthly dollars on it. That is okay. What is not okay is a game that you paid $40 for saying, hey, if you want unlimited storage, if you want a spawn point, a campsite, you're gonna have to pay every single month for that. That is not acceptable in a game that you already paid $40 for. If you pay money for a game, everything should already be there. I'm now gonna take everything I just told you and flip it on its head. When you buy a game, you should expect all the content to be there in the game. But Payday 2 does not fit that mold, and it works. Payday 2 is a 4-person co-op bank heisting game that is $9.99 on Steam when it's not on sale. It goes on sale all the time. This game has, drumroll please, 63 DLCs that if you bought them on your own would cost you over $100. This is a game, again, that not on sale, costs $9.99. The game is this many times cheaper than all the content that is additionally added to the game. When you go to buy your first gun, it shows you all the guns that you cannot buy because you don't have one of its 63 DLCs. The majority of this extra content comes in the form of weapons, characters, and heists. You can join a heist that somebody purchased even if you don't own it, but you cannot get any of the DLC guns without purchasing the DLC. So why am I saying it's unacceptable for a game like Fallout 76 to hide things that you want in the game behind a paywall, but it's okay for Payday 2 to do it?
Yeah, Nate, what's your deal?
It's all about the approach. When you buy, say, the Sydney Character Pack DLC, you get Sydney, you get her gun, you get her knife, and you get her skill set. But what you don't get is all the attachments for the guns. To get the attachments, you need to use your guns in combat and get achievements that you got by purchasing that DLC. Then when you complete the achievements using the items that you just bought in your DLC, you unlock attachments for the guns. It's much more fun than just the face value transaction of here's some money, here's the content. And then when you finish that DLC, you can wait for the next sale, pick up another DLC for 99 cents, and repeat the process. The gameplay with the DLCs in Payday 2 is designed for you to buy one DLC at a time. The gameplay in Fallout 76 is designed for you to have everything that's locked behind a paywall. The last thing I want to mention is just because I love it. The Dishonored DLC, the Knife of Dunwall, is freaking phenomenal. You get to play as Dowd, the assassin that you are trying to kill when you play through the game for the first time. But in this DLC, because you play as him, you get to see his perspective and his twist on everything, and it makes the whole ending of the game much more enjoyable. Also, completely off topic, the art style of Dunwall in the Dishonored series is so freaking gorgeous. Can we please have more games with this incredibly distinctive art style? I like it a lot. It butters my biscuit. It makes me want to shave my chest and rub myself with butter. Gosh, I sound fetishy. So, we talked about the good, we talked about the bad, we talked about the interesting. So what makes a DLC good? In my opinion, what makes or breaks a DLC is not only what it brings to the table, but how it goes about doing it. I think we can have a very clear example from Fallout 76, Payday 2, and The Witcher 3 that there are some clear ways to go about delivering your DLC. That is the difference between a good, great, and exceptionally horrible DLC. And I think it's time for the outro show. Ow! Hey, welcome back to the outro show. The outro, that's a show. It is so good to be back, let me tell you, and thank you for coming back to the show. We like to do two things. We like to read comments and do music stuff. So without further ado, let's look at music of the moment. Today's music of the moment is You Already Know by Fergie and Nicki Minaj. This track came out in 2017, but when I listened to it, I'm just like, oh yeah, I'm getting that like 2015 vibes in 2017, even though right now it's 2020. Right now is a great time to be all nostalgic and stuff. The second that beat kicks in and Fergie's just like, life's a movie. I don't know the lyrics, but I know that beat, and that beat kicks. And that's what I want in my content. This song, good one. I recommend listening to it. Top link in the description as always. Click it. Next up, we've got my personal favorite segment. It is time to read the freaking comments. Zoom in on this hand now. Let's go. First comment we have is Wolf MP2 saying, love me a good pig on the Borgia. For context, that is under this video where I wrote part of the script while having a migraine. So I said some words wrong. I said pig on the Borgia. Next up, that Dr. Swagfellow is very well spoken and very handsome. How many rupees for a buy? He's taken. All right, so here's the thing, boys and squirrels. Please give me some dirt. Make fun of me. I'll even give you some things to make fun of. Make fun of me. All right, that's gonna be it for today. Thank you so much for tuning into the outro show. As always, you can find me at these socials, and I'll catch you next time. Stay sexy.